The one we're reviewing or looking at is actually the first one in the Curse collection.
Oh,
You know what I'm
really?
talking about?
Yeah, like it leads up to the Great Darkness Saga book, or is it after? It's after,
I think
isn't
it's
it?
after. Yeah. Ah, what do you got? You got 2 copies there?
I got 3 copies.
Oh,
I got the newsstand.
uh-huh.
I got the direct market version, and then I got a Canadian version, Canadian newsstand. I don't know if there's a Canadian direct market, and it's a higher price.
Oh. So it doesn't have the US and Canadian prices listed on the same. Is that what they usually do?
Yeah, that's right. The US newsstand, it only has the US price on it.
Oh, okay.
The US direct has US, UK, and Canada. And then the Canadian newsstand just has Canadian 75 cents.
Mm.
There's a glare. You probably can't see any
No,
of
I
this.
can see it. Is that the only difference? Are the ads any different or?
I don't think there's a difference, but I don't know. I'll open it and check. I think they're all the same though.
Yeah.
Inside cover is the same.
Mm-hmm. Probably all printed the same place.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the only difference is on the cover.
Were they printed in Canada? I don't know where DC was printing all their books at that time.
Let's see. Does it say? It says printed in USA right here.
Mm.
Printed in USA. Yeah, I think the interior is identical.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's that. That's my collection of this issue. So we're looking at Legion of Superheroes number 297, Spotlight on Cosmic Boy. It's from 1983. Paul Levitz, Keith Giffen, Larry Mahlstedt.
Carl Gafford.
Yep, colorist.
Yep. John Costanza, Karen Berger.
Speaking of the colorist, I looked at this tonight on the DC Universe Infinite subscription website.
Uh-huh.
And I looked at it on my phone, and so you can kind of see the whole page, you know, like,
Yeah.
I don't know, like seeing it thumbnail size on your phone. I kind of like the way it looked on the phone or on that digital version, like the colors.
Mm-hmm.
I think the way the colors pop out looked kind of good. Like, I don't know, whoever, like, I guess it was Carl Gafford, did a good job on this. I don't know if he meant for it to, or if in his imagination it came out or was going to come out as juicy and bright as it is on that website, for example, or if he assumed it's going to look the way it does in print.
Well, do you think he colored the version you were looking at though?
It's the same colors, yeah.
It's one of those where they scanned the color page.
Yeah, however, whatever weird way they do it, it's not like the archives where they go through and paint bucket everything.
Right.
But anyway, I thought the color in the digital one looked pretty good, pretty saturated and juicy.
Right.
And there's some stuff in this, some surprint color hold stuff that gets lost in the print version that reads much better because you can actually see it on that digital version.
Okay. I'll see if I can spot those. So I'm looking at basically the newsprint version in one side and the Curse trade paperback. It's a hardcover actually, but I wonder if the colors in here are like what you saw on screen because they're a lot more saturated.
But let's get into it. This is cool because the cover is basically the first page of the story.
Oh yeah.
It goes, it's like the camera reverses. We show a close up of Cosmic Boy
Hmm.
using his powers, and then we show what he's using his powers on here on the splash
Right.
page.
What's going on with his hands? Like if he's wearing black gloves, I mean, I guess I understand why they did that, so you can make out the forms, but
Are you talking about?
is it like are his hands illuminated from the energy, or well, he's wearing black gloves, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Correct. But they're on page one, they're not
Yeah,
black.
I think we're he must be, we're looking through his eyes, his point of view, through
Uh-huh.
the magnetic emanations that he's producing.
You get a no prize for that one.
Yeah, I wonder if can Cosmic Boy see his own power? Can he see the magnetic waves? I don't think he talks about that in this issue.
No, but I think that sounds like something I may have heard him say before.
Oh, really?
Like maybe he
Like
can
it's,
see the magnetic spectrum.
yeah, it's not like a sense. I don't know. It's not like some kind of bodily sensation. It's like it's actually visible to him.
It's funny. It just hit me that, when he first showed up, I think his powers were vision powers. Like his magnetic powers like came out of his eyes.
That's
You
right.
remember
It was
that?
magnetic vision. I do remember
Yeah.
that. So it starts out and he's like chasing down a Takran Galtos shuttle,
Hmm.
and he's trying to get these guys. And he tries repeatedly in this issue to get these guys,
Yes.
but he gets them, and then he's stopped by Night Girl, punches him out. Actually, I wanted to talk about just the visualization of his powers,
Oh yeah.
the rings,
Hmm.
and here like they kind of they sort of change when he's like grabbing the guys to these
Uh-huh.
kind of stretched out um, ellipse shape, I guess.
Right.
I don't know. I think that's like to me, it really is like a perfect visualization of magnetism for some reason. I don't know if it's because I've read these or seen him use his power so many times,
Right.
but to me, it's like you see that and it's magnetism.
Something that we probably should have thought to look into before we started this is when they started doing that. Like, did it start here?
Oh, I don't know. I bet Giffen did it every time, but
Okay. Okay.
I don't know. I even used this, like we had on Loud House, we had a big magnet, they bring out a big horseshoe magnet, and it was my job to design the magnet effect. I used this. It's perfect.
Right. Right. I'm trying to. I mean, they kind of did that before, like just with like drawings of magnets, but usually I think they use dotted lines for the
Mhm.
the magnetic spheres or whatever emanating from like like diagrams of magnets.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know. Here it looks really cool. I like how it
Definitely.
looks. They're just like these weird circles going everywhere and just coming
Right.
out of
For
him.
sure. I love that one on the bottom right before Night Girl knocks him out.
Yeah, that's another one where you can sort of see through it. Only we're
Yeah.
looking back at him.
Right. Right.
This is kind of a neat effect that he does on his face.
And the negative space for the hands.
Yeah.
Giffen does a lot of those kind of negative space cutouts in the corners of panels. It's pretty
Oh
neat.
yeah. What do you call this though when he just outlines the dark area and then they fill it in with a lighter color? There must be a name for that type of drawing because they do it a lot. It was like,
Hmm. Hmm.
I mean, you see it a lot in just like Peter Max type of stuff from the 60s and 70s, but then I see it a lot in Legion stuff. Like Sherman did it every now and then
Right.
in like the reboot. I think like that guy Jeff Moy was doing it frequently.
Like it looks like a high contrast photo, sort of like where they outline where all the dark shadow would be, like
Exactly.
under his
Yeah.
nose. And
Yeah. Instead of filling it in with black, it's drawn. There's an outline drawn of it, and
right.
then they fill it in with the color.
Yeah. I don't know what
And
that's called.
he's done it. He does it a couple of times in this issue
Hmm.
too. Looks like Night Girl's in an all black costume with kind of a spiky cape, which I don't remember her wearing before. I think we talked at length about her costume, her Vampirella costume
Right.
from the 70s.
Slightly more conservative rendition of that. Less skin.
Yeah, now she's totally covered up.
Yeah.
Right. And Cosmic Boy's covered up.
Yeah.
The Bush must be president in this or something. Everything's conservative, except for, I guess, this guy showing his bare chest. This is still the Gil Gerard era of Timberwolf.
Right. Looking good.
This is cool. This is kind of a pointless page, but this is they're at the spaceport. Brainiac 5 is seeing off Matter Eater Lad.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's a little disappointing. It's like they went through the trouble of bringing him in and fixing him, and they're just sending him back off because what are they going to do with him, I guess?
Well, when did they fix him? He found it. Brainiac says he found a cure for him in 251. 251? Right. That was 40 issues ago, 46 issues ago.
Well, I went back and read that issue, but it's been so long I've already forgotten.
Yeah, I remember talking about it. I think you told me that Brainiac 5 has gone crazy and was trying to take over the universe.
Right.
And then Matter Eater Lad ate the Miracle Machine and went insane. And so they're both insane.
So maybe 251 is the issue where he first goes crazy.
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay.
Because the dialogue here says, Brainiac 5 says, it didn't seem to shorten the interminable time it took for me to find a cure for you. Okay. Asterisk. And then down here, Karen tells us it was Legion 251. But maybe that is, I don't know what the hell they mean. Maybe, I'm pretty sure it means that he cured his insanity in 251.
I'm running back to it. Look, well, no, he's crazy. He's crazy in 251 for sure. He's kind of the villain in it. Brainiac 5. I think. Let me get to the end real quick and see if it's the same issue. Yeah, it's the one where they're both crazy in it. Well, wait a minute. No, I think this is where he ate the Miracle Machine because they're both locked up at the end, and like Starboy asked Timberwolf which one of them is crazier, like because they're both together in there.
Weird.
So
well, okay.
This is
well, all right. Let's get back to this. We don't know when Matter Eater Lad got cured, but he got cured, and now he's leaving for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But this spaceport's pretty cool looking, I guess, kind of sci-fi looking.
Definitely.
And here's Dr. Jimmel. I bet he says something about his credit voucher. It's right here,
Sign my voucher, and I'll be on my way.
Now we're back at this is Legion headquarters. A very weird establishing shot of Legion headquarters, where you can barely tell that's what it is. There's the L there on the front of it. But I guess Giffen must have pulled out the map of Legion headquarters to find out where Cosmic Boy's room might be and show the word balloons coming from that spot. But otherwise, you wouldn't really know what the hell that place is.
Right.
And here's Night Girl. She's hung up her cape.
Yeah.
So it's this kind of spiky thing. I think another character has a cape, kind of like that character.
Like Hawk and Dove or something?
No, Lamprey, the Legion Academy. I think she's a Legion Academy student. Has a costume or a cape like that.
Sleeping in his uniform, of course.
Of course. He says, "Hold me, hold me, Lyda."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess we should explain the reason he was trying to catch those guys or get those guys out of the space shuttles because they set off a bomb in the neighborhood where his parents and brother lived and blew them up.
Like a dirty bomb, right? Like a nuclear weapon.
Oh, is it that bad? Yeah, I guess so.
Right.
They're in bad shape, and they're all in the hospital.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because it almost seems like, is that the best they have? Like 1,000 years from now, they're still worried about nukes. It's unfortunate, but
Yeah, I mean, these guys must. That's just what they could cobble together, I guess.
right.
But I assume that happened in the last issue. I don't. We're. I haven't read any of these in 20 years. So even though I'm an expert, I don't really know what happened last issue.
First of all, that last issue was in fact when Matter Eater Lad was cured, though that was sort of an aside. But it's been a ongoing story, right, for 2 or 3 issues.
They got blown up?
Right. This is not the first issue that happened in, because there's the issue with Sunboy holding his brother. Kind of in that classic like crisis, Superman holding
I do remember
Supergirl
that.
pose. And I think he has like a tear in his eye or something like that.
Oh, that's Paul Corinne on that cover.
I believe so, yeah. And because he knows him apparently.
What do these bad guys have against the Kryn family that they would blow up their neighborhood?
I think it was a coincidence. I don't think they were targeting like Cosmic Boy's family. They just happened to live there on Earth. I guess they immigrated to Earth at some point.
Yeah, that's all explained in this issue.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing I remember about it is Paul is really graphically burned up, like he's like Freddy Krueger or something. So there must be great advances in healing burns.
Reconstructive surgery.
Right.
Yeah, on the next page, the Cosmic Boy begins to explain how he came to be Cosmic Boy here on.
Right. I should interject real quick before, because I should have brought this up, but they were off world at the time. Like Cosmic Boy and Night Girl were on, I think, Daxam.
When?
During the terrorist attack and the Legion, going and dealing with that. Like when Sunboy found Paul and all that, they were off world and they were worried, like, we need to get to them before they get to Earth. And he finds out.
I see.
And apparently we find it at the beginning here, he has found out before they could intercept him.
Right. He finds out and flips.
Right.
Yeah, so he's flipped out for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
She punches him out. Now he's going to explain his origin.
Mm-hmm.
He explains, we all know this. If you're on like watching this, don't you know the Cosmic Boy story? Mm-hmm. He's from the planet Brawl. How do you say it? Brawl or Braille?
I always said Brawl.
I'm going to say Brawl too.
Yeah. Braille's Planet of the Blind Guys.
Everything has little dimples all over it.
Right. You notice in this flashback, the monster's pretty organic and ordinary looking. Like, I thought all the beasts on the planet were like made of metal.
Yeah, they call them metallic monsters.
Right.
But this does just look like a dinosaur.
Right.
I think I complained about this later in Magic Wars when they fight the metal monsters. They look even less impressive than in this issue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if any of the Silver Age guys ever drew the metallic monsters. I wonder what those look like.
See, I think they did. Yeah. I think the Silver Age guys made them look more like they were made of like bolts and stuff. But
right.
I could be wrong, but
I can visualize how they would look.
Right.
And it would probably also be colored like red and yellow, but look like they're made out of sheet metal with bolts and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So Cosmic Boy explains the planet. He shows a picture of his parents and brother. Yeah, here's some of that color hold stuff that it's very difficult to see in the printed book. This is nice and red in the digital version that I saw. And he has this. It's like this is their photo album. I guess is like a disco ball. Oh, and Cosmic Boy reveals, I don't know if anybody ever knew this before, he was born on Earth. And that's why he has Wait, is that why he has better magnetism than everybody else?
They seem to be implying that.
Yeah.
Seems kind of dumb to me, but
Yeah.
kind of a cliche.
Here's some magno ball being played. Kind of looks like high lie or something, but with your hands.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Brawl. It's always been in a depression, so that's why his dad is looking for work.
Yeah.
Here's 14-year-old Cosmic Boy leaving for Earth to look for work.
Yeah. Apparently on Brawl 14, at 14, you're considered an adult. I wonder if that has something to do with the fact that they're always at war.
Yeah, they always need people to shore up their economy.
Well, yeah, go to work.
Yeah. But you're also big and strong and adult-like at 14.
Right. That seems to be sort of a near universal problem with a lot of great superhero illustrators. They're not super good at drawing like teenagers. They always kind of look like adults.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't seem like he's even trying to draw a teenager or a kid.
Right.
Like this is an adult. It's like he drew the adult and then somebody's like, wait, he's 14. He's like, then I hit 14, the magic age.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks like he's 30.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So they exit. He's going to go check on his parents at the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
Here's Timberwolf. He's bummed about his girlfriend leaving him as usual.
Blazes.
Yeah, he missed the bus.
Yeah.
And then here's a little comedy bit where he jumps on top of the bus, but his legs punch through the roof.
Yeah. I do kind of like that he was like this sort of badass tough guy Wolverine character, and they're just sort of like they've sort of turned him into a joke.
He is a total buffoon.
Right.
He's just a huge loser, right?
Is he sort of metamorphosizing there? Or?
I think he is. Like he's getting mad and his eyes are turning red, and he's kind of sprouted some hair on his face.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't seem to last. He looks like he's back to normal.
Right.
After his embarrassing jump.
Mm-hmm.
This is a Medicomplex. Undocumented legends purport it is an agglomeration of some 15 hospitals of previous centuries. Documented fact indicates it is the largest facility of medical care and technology on the surface of Earth. That's Encyclopedia Galactica.
Mm-hmm.
And they introduced this Dr. Chang character. I don't know if she's been around much. She seems like she has kind of a big part, like they would use her again.
Mm-hmm. I like her kind of shark fin haircut there.
Yeah, funky shark fin haircut.
Is that like a future style or is that like an alien characteristic?
I think that's her hair. I don't think she's an alien. I think she's from Earth. Though she is an unfortunately colored straight up yellow. Well, orange. Here she has a yellow highlight, like a light shining on the side of her face.
Right.
She won't let him in, and he's like, "Screw you! I'm going to use my magnetic powers
mm-hmm.
to get into the hospital and look at my parents."
Mm-hmm.
He does this all through the issue. He psychs them out and goes ahead with whatever plan he has.
Right. I'm fine.
He's much more hot-headed here than I ever remember him being.
Right.
And bloodthirsty.
Right, because it's his family, I guess.
I guess so. He's real mad. Here's some more flashback. Back to more flashback.
Uh-huh. It kind of looks like he's trying to draw differently, like more Kurt Swanish. I don't know what he's going for, but
yeah, it's just the face of Lightning Lad.
Right.
To me,
that's where it really seems successful.
Yeah, Saturn Girl kind of looks like every Giffen girl,
uh-huh.
And Cosmic Boy looks like the 30-year-old, 14-year-old that he is.
Yeah, that Saturn Girl on the middle or on the right side, all the way to the left, is pretty rough. It's beneath his abilities.
right here.
Yeah.
The screaming one.
Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Okay.
This is a weird old-fashioned haircut. The two little loops. Looks like Robin.
Right. Right. She had that for a long time. That was one of her trademark looks. I remember when I was redrawing all those panels, the roll call. She had those.
So they explain why all these guys are on the shuttle to Earth, how they rescue Brand.
Hmm.
This doesn't have the funny line where Lightning Lad's like, "Get a load of that blonde," which is like it's verbatim that in
Right.
the Bridwell and origin stories, which is kind of funny.
That origin, the one you're talking about, that was when?
That was the one in Superboy 147, and then retold in that George Tuska one we just read.
I guess that probably wouldn't fly today, but that makes them sound like actual teenagers.
Yeah, it was a funny touch.
Yeah. I wonder if his I mean, it's not terrible, the flashbacks, but it's unsuccessful enough. I wonder if that's why, like, in subsequent flashbacks, they always seem to they go and find Schaffenberger or Swan or someone to do them for them.
Wait, because Giffen isn't so good at it? Is that what you
Right.
mean? He
Yeah.
can't pull off the 60s children that they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
I could see that.
At least not here. They looked kind of good in the 5 years later flashbacks in the first issue, but he wasn't trying to go for the Silver Age look there.
Yeah, but you're right. He was able somehow to make them look more youthful for some
Right.
reason.
Right.
He just drew their heads bigger or something.
Right.
So they show the assassins or the would-be assassins of Brand. They look like Chlorophyll Kid. They're wearing the same costume. They shop at the same store as Chlorophyll Kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, they team up and stop them. We knew that.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where Brand says California is the place you ought to be.
I kind of like that panel of the three of them kind of floating above the tower there.
Yeah, right here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks pretty good. I kind of like the Adventure 247 versions of these costumes are a little bit different. Like he's wearing something that looks more like slacks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he has a big fishbowl space helmet. But
yeah,
this is all right.
I kind of like those costumes, especially Saturn Girls. I kind of like that one better than the pink one sometimes.
I think I like it too. Oh, this is the one on this panel. The last panel on page 15 here is the one on the version of this panel on DC Universe Infinite website is in Spanish.
Oh,
it says Jefe Optimo Rockrin.
Cool.
It's very weird. I don't know how they managed to get the Spanish version of the color. It's kind of weird.
Weird. So they just probably like mixed a couple pages up when they posted it.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I wouldn't have imagined that this is even. I don't know that they could even have a mistake and put the Spanish one in there.
Right?
Because the rest of the dialogue is in English.
I think they called back to this panel too in that 5 years later first issue. The Optimum Leader Rot Kren. I seem to remember that being.
Wouldn't be surprised. They replay this a lot,
right,
throughout the history.
Yeah, but this seems like a more recent addition, right? Like all through the Silver Age, there was a rotating. They get a new leader every couple months or whatever. It only seems like somewhere around this time they start deciding like he is the main leader.
Right. Yeah, I guess that's true. Maybe this is the first place where they showed him as the perfect Legion leader, and they just stuck with that forever.
Right. So we're seeing like a diagnostic of the brother.
Yeah, I like this stuff on the next page where like the little diagnostic diagrams. There's some
Mhm.
interlac in here. I didn't really try to translate it.
Mhm.
But oh yeah, this is where his mother dies of
Yeah.
her. She succumbs,
Mhm.
and when she dies, she just gets turned off. I guess just gets turned to dead
Oh,
lines.
right, right.
Decent delineation of crying. Kind of hard to pull off sometimes, but they did it okay. There's some dot screen and then fine line around the tears. So
It's good for him, especially. I feel like that's one of his big weaknesses, especially around his Legion stuff. Like the tears look pretty rough sometimes. Like they look like big, like slime dripping down their faces, you know?
I think a lot of people draw it that way. Like it's hard to get it fine line enough, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, Mahlstedt is a good inker for that, doing real fine line stuff. So
Hmm.
maybe he fixed it up.
Yeah, that could be the difference. Did he draw all of this? Did he draw? Is it the same artist and inker all the way through?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, on this page, Cosmic Boy he's telling more of his backstory, and he's blaming himself
Hmm.
and no one else for the death of his mother and all this stuff because I guess because he joined the Legion instead of
Right.
I don't know hanging out with his parents more.
Yeah, and there's this weird, this is really weird kind of passive aggressive line here about like his mom hating her hair. Like I don't know why he made it, why he even brought that up in that moment.
Mom hated it. Yeah, I mean she doesn't take it to heart though. I guess.
Yeah, yeah. He jettisons her here in a second.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's got it into his head again. Like he was real calm for a few pages.
Right.
And now he uses his powers to throw his girlfriend through the wall, and then he's
Well,
going to go back and get those guys again.
well, she did punch him in the head, I guess. There's these are the only places I can think of where I've seen these. You were commenting on the magnetic, um, the circles,
Hmm.
uh, but showing them in his flight. Like I guess maybe he's propelling himself with his power here, and he doesn't normally do that. He uses the flight ring. Maybe that's the difference. But
Yeah, he even says, "I should have tried this years ago. Flying on magnetic currents is much faster than using a flight ring."
right,
So yeah, this Giffen must have thought of it, and this is the first time he's really employing it.
yeah, it looks really cool. But I'm pretty sure they didn't keep doing it.
Right.
Right,
Usually he doesn't need to be in a place in such a hurry, but tonight he's got killing on his mind.
right. And there's another example of that effect you were talking about.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. I don't quite get this. Like he's kind of merging with the whatever the death signal from the the diagnostic scan
Mm.
is showing behind him. I can't read the interlac. I don't remember. This is A O T, and that's the triangle isn't a letter. I think it's like a I don't know what it is. I guess it's probably not AOT something. Who knows?
Yeah.
Next page is picking up the subplot that Chameleon Boy's his adventure that he's been on. I guess he's been out on Durla and he went on trial for murder or something like that, if I recall.
Did that have some? Was he like there with his dad?
I think Brand like disappeared back to Durla and then they were reunited, and that's when he found out Brand was his
Uh-huh.
father. Maybe
Was this when?
no, he found out Brand was his father in that Secrets of the Legion book.
Right, right. But they were kind of estranged or something, and they go on a trip.
Yeah,
He lost his powers because there was some period where he couldn't use his powers for a while.
it's right here. He reveals he's lost his powers.
Okay.
But then they go on a mission again to stop Cosmic Boy.
Hmm.
Sun Boy's like, oh no, it's Cosmic Boy again, because
Uh,
Cosmic Boy's going after those three guys again.
hmm.
Now he's real mad because his mom's has died. Before she hadn't died yet, so he was just pissed. Now he's
Right,
double pissed.
right.
Oh, but this is actually kind of dumb. Sunboy is like, or somebody off panel,
Mhm.
Ultra Boy or Saturn or Phantom Girl is like, we've got to stop him. And Sunboy blasts his power and says, "No, if we hold Cosmic Boy back, we'll never know what would have happened, or he'll never know." I guess Sunboy is trying to do it like a trust test with Cosmic Boy.
Yeah, it's very similar to what Chemical Kid did with Element Lad when he was about to kill Roxas, but not for this reason, for sure. Not like a test. I guess he felt he knew he couldn't go through with it, but somehow this seems more reckless.
It seems, yeah, like this is a second time in like a day and a half that Cosmic Boy's tried to murder these three guys,
Yeah, yeah.
and he's destroyed like a spaceship. He's destroyed the wall of the hospital.
Threw a Legion reservist out the window.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Phantom Girl, the only reasonable one, is like, if he doesn't control himself, what happens then? Won't the blood be on our hands because we didn't stop him? And the truth is that yes, if he
Yes,
doesn't figure this out, you will be responsible.
for sure.
Here's a cool panel, or a cool, I guess it's a panel. It's a one-page thing with kind of a montage.
Yeah.
A lot happening here. Giffen doesn't do this kind of stuff very often. Well, he sort of does it where there's no background; it's all kind of white,
Hmm.
but like kind of inset stuff, no panel borders.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's a to me, it's kind of a atypical way of Giffen.
You can tell this is like he's pretty excited about comics during this period. Like he experiments a lot in these early Legion issues he drew.
Yeah. Oh, and here's, yeah, they're using the motif of the whatever the EKG death scan thing of his mother is right here.
Where is it?
It's right here in the middle. You can see the little parallel lines where her face,
Oh, okay. Right, right,
and it kind of continues. Maybe he even meant for it to be that red color hold again instead of the blue.
right. Probably
But
would have worked
you
better.
can see it here, and then it actually shows up again down here in Cosmic Boy's eyes. The
Oh,
little
yeah.
the little lines, and that goes all the way across. Kind of interesting. Kind of a, I don't know. He's, yeah, like you said, he's experimenting with
Right.
doing this stuff.
That's one of those things. It's almost too esoteric in a way. Like if it was the more obvious stereotypical heartbeat thing, it'd be
Mm-hmm.
communicated better. But yeah.
Right. And here it is again. It's back to being red on this page, but Giffen has superimposed the criminals' faces over the the EKG thing.
Hmm.
And this is a page where that EKG stuff is kind of washed out. It would benefit from being a little brighter.
Right.
But oh, it looks like Saturn Girl gets into his head, or no, is that his mother, and tells him to stop.
Who tells him to stop?
Yeah, do you see? It's one, two, the fourth panel.
Yeah. Yeah.
The voice that says no. I think that's his mother. It's the ghost of his mother has showed up again and tells him not to kill these guys. And he comes to his senses. And I think this is a really cool.
Do we see what she looks like earlier? I can't remember.
I don't. Well, yeah, we do in his little disco ball family album.
Oh, right, right.
Yeah, here she is.
Same
I guess
haircut.
that's pretty much the same haircut.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And this one, she's wearing a weird shiny helmet in this drawing.
Right.
But
yeah,
I
you're
think
right. It
that
has to be
is-
her because Saturn Girl isn't here.
Yeah, Saturn Girl hasn't been in the story so far.
Right.
But yeah, this page and the page before it, these are totally the beginnings of some of that stuff that Giffen was doing, where yeah, there's a lot of negative space on them.
Hmm.
Like what he was doing. This is 83, right? Yeah, like within
Yeah.
two or 3 years, he's doing that all over the place, and then the drawing style has gotten really cartoony.
Right.
Like, yeah, he'll draw panels like this.
Oh, yeah. I love those.
Yeah, so he walks away. He won't become a killer in his mother's name.
Right.
And yeah, older boy's like, he pulled through. Like
Kind of
like
seems
he was
like
gonna die.
right. Yeah, and he's probably just back. It's business as usual in the next issue or two, but kind of seems like maybe he'd have to be on mandatory leave for a little while after something like this. Probably some counseling.
Yeah, there really ought to be some kind of consequences. I mean,
Right.
just for all the destruction. I guess they get a blank check from RJ Brand for that kind of stuff.
Right. Well, it's like he didn't go through with it. He didn't pull the trigger, but he still pulled a gun out on these guys, like it's still
Yeah.
probably needs an evaluation and some counseling before send him back out, put him back in charge.
It's definitely attempted murder like twice.
Right.
Right. And you would think that like if there was really police involved,
Right.
that the Legion organization would have some kind of consequences for not keeping this guy on a leash. It's like we didn't arrest him the first time. You were supposed to take care of this.
Element Lad's girlfriend will lose the files or something.
Man.
Thin blue line.
Yeah, totally corrupt. Yeah, he just walks off. It's kind of a silly ending, kind of a cornball last couple of panels here.
Well, yeah.
Chameleon Boy says, "Take it from me. There are some things that a man just has to work out on his own."
Right.
And he's Cosmic Boy's listening to them, and he gets a sly grin on his face.
Uh-huh.
And
what's that about?
He says, the dialogue is, guys, I never saw a cause like that, so violent and so powerful. I think this is Phantom Girl. She seems kind of turned on by how violent and powerful and tough he was.
Right.
I never would have thought he had it in him.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the guys says, "I'll make you a bet, Phantom Girl." Neither did he.
Mm-hmm.
And then he Cosmic Boy is flying away on the magnetic field of Earth very triumphantly because he resisted being a murderer.
Wow. You're right. Like, but when I read that, I didn't get any of that subtext. I just thought he was like leaving angry, like possibly ashamed. But yeah, what you're saying makes more sense. It makes way more sense, especially once you point out that smile. Yeah. What's the scream? What's the scream?
Hell if I know.
Right there.
That is weird. I don't know what that is. What? Is it the bad guys? Maybe. Did he kill the bad guys?
Holy.
No.
Like he killed them using his powers and they don't know, or maybe he hears someone's in danger and he's going off to save them. I don't know.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. That's very cryptic that there's a scream.
Mm-hmm.
I have no idea. But these three drawings in the middle here is the first one. I think we're meant to think that Cosmic Boy is overhearing them and kind of looking over his shoulder, his eyes open. And this one, he's kind of closed his eyes, solemnly closed his eyes. And then he's opened his eye again and he's grinning. And then he flies away because I guess he's seeing he's pleased that he's restored their faith in him or something. But yeah, I don't know where the scream is. The scream, I guess, is making him smile. I have no idea. Really weird.
I like your theory. Maybe he's killed one of them, like pulled the iron in his blood, caused him to have a stroke or something.
Right, exactly. From a distance, he uses power.
Right.
Yeah. But the his other teammates, they don't notice the scream. They're still having a conversation.
Right.
That's super weird. I didn't even notice that until you mentioned it. Like I skipped right over that.
Yeah.
Because it's not in a word balloon, I guess. I just didn't read it.
Yeah. Well, it's way up at the top of that panel too. Yeah. It's a long panel.
And it's the same color as the background. I don't know. There's something about it. I didn't read it.
The more I look at this page, the more I think he is exacting some revenge on them. because he's looking behind him. They're right behind him. He's walking away from them. Then he closes his eyes like he's concentrating. And then the guy screams and he's looking behind him again and smiling.
But where are the bad guys?
Well, on the top page, on the very top of the page, you see that they're behind him when he's walking. I don't know where they are on the bottom left.
So they're somewhere between the other Legionnaires and Cosmic Boy, but they're not in this panel where it shows all of them.
Right. Well, you know what I wonder? I wonder if like Giffen was going for one thing and Levitz was going for something else. Because
Yeah.
nothing Levitz's writing really confirms that's all happening, in the images and the scream, which he probably penciled in.
I suppose, but
Do you ever look at that Legion of Super Bloggers?
I do sometimes.
Blog?
I not too religiously. It sounds like
Right.
you look at it for every one of these, right?
Not everyone, but every now and then I look at it.
Mm-hmm.
But they bring it up there like they don't know what's going on the last page. He says, "Are Ka's eyes supposed to be open in that last sequence or closed? And what's supposed to be happening? Does Cosmic Boy blast the terrorists again?" And one of them screams. In the previous panel, they appear to be unconscious. Does Cosmic Boy let out a primal scream as he flies away? It doesn't. Like none of it makes sense, is what
Right.
they say. Like that last panel doesn't add up. But yeah, I can't help but wonder if maybe Giffen was trying to say one thing and Levitz was trying to say something else. Like Levitz either didn't pick up on it or didn't agree with it and did it differently.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing they mentioned about his eye, there's a coloring error where in this 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth panel where they've colored like a blue blue iris, but the drawing is clearly of a guy with his eyes closed.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I see what you mean. Like yeah. But yeah, his eyes are closed. Yeah.
But yeah, I could maybe imagine the script says, like in the sixth panel 6, there's a
Mhm.
scream.
Mm-hmm.
But then when Giffen drew it, he subdivided that panel.
Mm-hmm.
And then the letter maybe didn't get the memo
Yeah.
that Giffen had added a panel. And so the scream got put in the wrong panel. Of course, I don't know what panel it would go in.
Right. Because they're already taken out. Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like if we even asked either of those guys, there's no way they remember.
Right. Yeah, very strange. But yeah, it does seem like Cosmic Boy is up to something here. I read it because I didn't see the scream. I read it as he is pleased that he's rebuilt his trust with them.
Right. This is like his big fist pump at the end, like his triumphant.
Yeah, exactly.
I succeeded, and I'm more powerful than ever.
Yeah, but now the scream makes it seem like, yeah, maybe he used his powers to, I don't know, maybe he didn't kill him because he does go through this thing with the ghost of his mother or whatever.
Right.
And he's like, if I kill you, I'm no better than you are. So I don't think he kills them.
Right.
But yeah, maybe he just breaks all their hands or something.
Magnetically kicks them in the nuts.
Yeah.
While they're down.
Yeah, pretty weird. We'll never know. But there was one more thing before we go to the letters page that I remembered way back here when he's telling his story about Legion headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's my never-ending quest to figure out what is the street that Legion headquarters is on.
Oh, yeah.
He says that's how the Legion began, of course. He built them a clubhouse in Weisinger Plaza, long since named Legion Plaza.
Right. Renamed.
Yeah, renamed.
Mm-hmm.
So we got Legion Plaza, we got Nolan Plaza, we got Weisinger Plaza, We got Avenue of the Superheroes. We got Metropolis Street. Was there another one? I can't think of another one.
But
yeah, it's the street could lead into the plaza. But is Avenue of the Superheroes the same as Metropolis Street? And when did it go from Nolan Plaza to Weisinger Plaza to Legion Plaza, or what order did that all happen in?
Well, I think it probably went from Weisinger to Legion after they'd uncovered, some unscrupulous behavior by Weisinger in the history books about his treatment of his employees.
Yeah, he got canceled.
Right.
Well, then what about Nolan? Was it only named Nolan Plaza for a year after Andrew Nolan died, saving the universe or saving the solar system?
Yeah, that's pretty weak.
And then they switched it back to Legion Plaza.
Is Nolan Plaza in front of the Legion Academy? Or the Legion Academy?
Legion headquarters. Wait, was it? No, it wasn't Legion Academy. Yeah, it was Legion headquarters.
Well, wait, where's the place that has the big Firo Lad statue in the front?
I don't know. I didn't know there was
I thought
one.
we just read that, didn't we?
Well, the one where they call it Nolan Plaza is issue 212 when the Super Rejects show up.
Yeah, but aren't they? Oh, okay. That might not have been the Legion Academy then.
Right. It was Legion headquarters. They got rejected from their tryout at Legion headquarters.
Did they destroy the statue? I can't remember.
I don't remember either.
Maybe they're like, well, there's no point in calling it Nolan Plaza anymore. I feel like it fell over or something in the battle.
Like Nolan, he's dead, and his statue is destroyed. Like we're changing the name.
You won't know the difference.
We're done with this. Anyway, I wonder if this is the first time it was called Weisinger Plaza.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the letters page. All right, so
gripped me in excitement. Hot and heavy here. It's like the forum.
This letter is from repeat letter writer Kent A. Phoenix.
A likely name.
We laughed the last time his name showed up.
We did.
We both did, like Beavis and Butthead.
It must have been really late. I have no memory of that.
Oh yeah, I can't remember what issue it was in, but it wasn't that long ago. Really? I mean, actually, maybe it was that long ago. We haven't done a lot of issues yet. But,
it was probably the Lightning Lord issue, right?
It must have been, yeah. Kent A. Phoenix, Indianapolis, Indiana. He's talking about the Great Darkness saga and the gripping excitement that it brought him.
Mm-hmm.
Each Legionnaire was at his peak, and I was very glad to see Lightning Lad back to nearly his old self again. His self-put-downs were minimal, and with the guidance of his two closest comrades beside him, I feel certain that we have little to fear of a relapse. Was there a plot line of Lightning Lad being kind of a puss and down on himself?
I think before Levitz came along, there was quite a while in the 80s where he was the leader, and he was a self-doubting leader. He didn't feel good about being a leader. He was overall probably an unsuccessful leader.
I see.
As far as those guys go. Though I think it's healthy to be a little self-deprecating myself.
Mm-hmm.
It's time that you're not a megalomaniac, but whatever.
This letter, wow, he's really kissing ass in this letter.
Mm-hmm.
He says, rarely have I felt myself so caught up in a comic's fight scene. The characterization only enhanced it, as Wildfire's volatile personality has been repressed somewhat lately. I'm going to read some more of his superlatives.
I know, it's very visceral, like borderline sexual. Through this whole thing, it's gripped me in excitement.
Teamwork and camaraderie have seldom come across so well with this many players in the field, but Paul made sure no one was lost in the crowd, and all the Legionnaires were shown proudly. The appearance. Oh yeah, this part. I didn't remember this. I haven't read Great Darkness Saga in quite some time. He says the appearance of the baby was a shocker this time, as we now try to puzzle out this piece of the grand scheme. This isn't the baby of Lightning Lad Saturn Girl, right? They didn't.
Well, surely it is, right?
I don't remember that baby making appearance in this story. He says his appearance through the boom tube, similar yet different from the servants' one, indicated to this reader that New Genesis must also be around in some capacity in the 30th century. So perhaps the Legion will be further aided by the new gods in their fight against Darkseid. It's puzzling because it calls to mind the exchange between Highfather and Darkseid, which ended their first war. Did the any of the new gods show up? Any of the good guys show up in Great Darkness Saga?
Orion is there. Maybe Big Barda. But that
Really?
might be but they're like shadow, like demon doppelgangers.
Right. The bad
Right.
guys are, they're like, some
They're
kind
like
of like,
Superboy, Orion.
they're like
and-
Darkseid created deep fried versions of
Right.
these guys, but like the no good guy new god
No,
character shows up to help out or anything, right?
I don't think so. Well, definitely not to any major. I kind of remember maybe Highfather's face being shown at some point, but probably not. I'm gonna say no. Could Is this referring to the annual? Because didn't isn't the annual kind of a continuation of the Great Darkness Saga?
No, this is chapter 3 of the Great Darkness Saga. So yeah, I thought he was even talking about the last issue, but no, that went 5 issues.
Because the baby was born in the first, or the annual, right?
Yeah, the annual, like a year later, right?
Yeah.
This is
Okay.
chapter 3 of Great Darkness Saga, which would be 292 or 3, I think.
I see.
And then he says to Giffen and Mahlstedt, a plea to never leave this comic. Your art's fantastic. And I wish that I could relay the praise you deserve. Thanks, Kent. Paul says, whew, after reading that letter. We received more mail on Great Darkness Saga than we can ever remember. A couple hundred letters per month, most of it highly complimentary. Stick with us. We'll be trying to top ourselves in the months to come. I don't know if they did top themselves for quite a while or ever, as far as like how much they talk about Great Darkness Saga. There wasn't another Great Darkness Saga.
Wait a minute. So wait, was the child one of the Daxamites? I think this is what he's talking about. If you can see this last panel.
Oh yeah, this little blonde guy.
Right. And it says, Darkseid, the ultimate servant and the child who may be the only way for the Legionnaires to survive.
Huh.
So
I have no idea. We'll have to read this again.
We'll get to it one of those years.
Yeah, there's a lot of these we got to read again.
Yeah, there is a kid who figures heavily into it who's clearly not. I totally forget who this kid was. Yeah, there was a kid. Did he age super fast? There's a kid who figures heavily into it. We'll have to reread it.
Yeah.
And Highfather is in it. In the the one with the big Darkseid head, and they're all on their knees worshiping him.
Yeah, that issue. What is that? 293.
That is 294, I think. Yeah, 294.
Well, all right.
All right. Well,
Mystery solved. Oh, this next one's a good one.
A good one. Mhm.
He says he calls Paul Levitz a racist. Not too long ago, I read an interview with Paul Levitz where he confessed his hatred for Tyrock. Supposedly, because of the origin, Paul said that racial problems are a thing of the past, a quote unquote thing of the past. I guess he thought to himself that it would be best forgotten. I can understand that. And while we're forgetting human tragedies, let's forget the Holocaust too, okay?
Shit.
Anyway, Paul went on to say that he might use Tyrock, quote unquote, to only to kill him. Luckily, he moved off the strip and Tyrock was left alive. Well, Paul came back and put Tyrock away by putting him permanently out of phase. But the story has been very good. Now comes Legion Annual #1, and what do we get? A French-speaking black teenager who can turn invisible. Wow. Somehow I should have expected this from Paul. I doubt Jacques Faucard will see much action, but I'll keep looking and hoping. You know, when black models are used in the big deal department store catalogs, they like for them to present themselves as foreign because they're more exotic and less offensive than us American blacks. Thanks, Paul. Harsh.
Damn. So this is an Archie good one.
Paul defends himself, and we'd have to look back and see who's right. But Paul says, actually, my quote in that interview was to say that by the 30th century, I believe racial problems will be a thing of the past, and that certainly includes the Holocaust. If not, I rather doubt that there will ever be a 30th century. There will be a 30th century, but humanity will not be present because we're all going to be wiped out by at least the 22nd century.
Mm-hmm.
But for that reason, I found Tyrock's origin as a character who came from an island of blacks who had formed a separatist state to avoid prejudice anachronistic, as was the scene in that issue where all the Legionnaires pointed to their skin colors to show they weren't prejudiced. See, we have green, blue, and orange people. Jacques Faucard was introduced not for the sake of his color, but as a hopefully interesting character with a French accent because of his origin on the Ivory Coast of Africa, where the French have taken great pains to help their language live on. A quote-unquote American black quotes because in the 30th century, our stories presume America is no longer a distinct political or social boundary, would speak interlac exactly as the other Legionnaires do, so the accent was added for an extra touch, without my being aware of the particular example of prejudice you mentioned existing in the modeling industry. You have seen Jacques in considerable action in previous issues, and more will follow, as well as more presence of other ethnic groups in the 30th century stories, something I admit we've neglected from time to time.
By time to time, we mean all the way up until now.
Not from prejudice, but from preoccupation with our existing characters, none of whom are black. I hope you'll keep reading. So what do you think? Who's right? I mean, I guess that sounds like a decent... he's got a lot of work to do in dismantling the white supremacy existent in the Legion concepts up to now.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, I think the writer drew some conclusions that he refuted. I mean, it doesn't sound like he eliminated Tyrock because he was black, right? He got rid of him because he thought the idea was kind of racist in of itself, right? Of course, the problem was then there was no black character there for a while.
Right. Well, and Tyrock was what he was used once, and then he came back only in the story to get rid of him, which is kind of what Paul did with Chemical King, basically, right? But yeah, he didn't kill him, at least.
But will there even be races by the 31st century? Distinct races? Who knows? Well, we'll all be dead. It won't actually. We'll never know. The whole human race will be dead.
There'll be a new species that's in charge of Earth.
Right. Well, like in some comic and science fiction stories, everybody's kind of tannish, like everyone's sort of intermingled because of the more interconnectedness of the world. They're not regionally isolated anymore.
Right.
But we're not really looking at the future. We're looking at stories that are really a reflection of the present. So it makes more sense that they would look like people live today. Thus, Phantom Girl has bell bottoms.
Yep, Phantom Girl has bell bottoms and big pigtails, so just like all the girls have.
Right.
Reader Roundup. More guesses of the master's identity. This is the identity of the master from Great Darkness Saga, who we know is Darkseid.
Oh yeah.
Because he's on the cover of the book. No
Who's
surprise.
Mayaville? Who's Mayaville? I've forgotten.
Sun Eater, Dr. Mayaval or
Mayaval.
Mayavel. He's that guy in that awful Jerry Conway, Steve Ditko issue of Legion, where he's got the big white beard and a cowboy hat.
Yeah. Okay.
All that stuff.
How could I forget?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sun Eater, we know that. Dr. Mayaval. I don't know Lord Satanus, Lord Lucifer.
What's the difference between those two guys?
I don't know. They have basically the same name.
So one of them is the guy that Matter Eater Lad was dealing with, right?
Hell if I know.
Like in the 5 year later story where
no.
doesn't he like run off with his daughter or his wife or something?
No, that's Evillo. That's Prince Evillo.
Oh, so that's a different guy.
Yeah, I don't know who.
Of course, Superman had a villain named Satanus, but I thought he was post-crisis.
I don't know.
Stalker. What the hell is Stalker?
But yeah, these are guesses from Stalker was a Steve Ditko comic, like a fantasy.
So these
comic.
are totally different issues he's grabbing characters from.
Yeah, they're from all over.
Okay,
I assume.
Okay.
Yeah. How do you think you say that? DGRTH, DeGirth from Stalker.
Mm-hmm. Probably not him.
Mongol, he's from Superman. Necron, I think, is from Blue Devil, or maybe he's just all over in DC.
Yeah, I thought he was from later too.
Straight Up Satan is a suggestion. Modulus, Asmodus.
Is that like Ozymandias? Osmodus?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Omega, Trigon, and the Parasite.
Mm-hmm.
It's none of those guys. It's Darkseid. Gurnley of Chicago, Illinois gets a gold star for being the only one to spot the Mentachem wand. I read that and I think it's supposed to be like a Hebrew derived word, but I don't think it is. Like the Mentachem wand in
Right.
290 as belonging to Hawkman's foe, the Matter Master. Tommy Judd of Watertown, Connecticut, put a postscript on his letter telling ex-editor Laurie Sutton, quote, "You're doing a good job for a girl."
Shit.
Like, what a jerk. And remember, you can still vote in the Legion election until February 1st. Of course, I don't know what month it is now.
Did they ever bring those back? Did they ever do those post Zero Hour?
Yeah, they did.
They did.
I think.
Did you vote?
No, I wasn't reading them, but they. I don't know if the reboot did them, but I'm pretty sure they did like an online kind of thing for the New 52 cycle.
Okay. Well, cool.
Andrew McLeany, Lansing, Michigan. Keith Giffen and Larry Mahlstedt are turning in some fantastic artwork. I've already sounded off on how great I think Keith Giffen is, and I'm not about to repeat myself, but I did want to mention his covers for this mag. One thing I never did like was the use of word balloons on covers. Well, Keith obviously feels as I do, for not once on any of his Legion covers has he used a word balloon. His covers managed to capture the spirit of the story within without actually being a duplicate of the scene from the story. What's funny is that
this guy has clearly not read Any Ambush Bug. So I think they always have balloons on the cover.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Like one of Giffen's most famous covers, which he didn't draw, but I'm sure he laid it out, was that Justice League #1, which is like has a friggin' word balloon on it, right in the center.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing left to say but that this series has reached a standard it hasn't had in years, and I hope it maintains that standard for years to come. With Giffen and Levitz at the helm, how can it fail? I guess it stays pretty good.
Yeah.
It gets kind of bad when they get around the start of the new series. it's kind of bad. But that's when does that? That's around 314's the last issue. So we got a good couple of years, year and a half left before it's no good anymore.
Well, now, does it get bad or does it just kind of get boring? I mean, maybe boring is bad, but
Yeah, that's what I think. It's supposed to be an exciting comic, and it's boring.
right.
Well, it's boring, and like the new Legion of Supervillain story. It's kind of incoherent too, right? On top of being
Right.
boring.
Well, he's very good at juggling lots of characters by bouncing around from like room to room and see he manages to like give you a couple panels with like every single character. But the trade-off is like less happens. So you're getting more coverage, but less is occurring. And it gets to the point like in the Baxter series where you're going 3 or 4 issues with nothing happening
Mm-hmm.
except every now and then a small like they're stopping like a bank robbery or whatever the future equivalent of that is, but yeah,
Yeah, it begins to read like a Sunday newspaper comic or a daily
like it's a
newspaper comic.
procedural.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like nothing happened yesterday. And then for today's page, we have to tell you what happened yesterday, which was nothing. And then a little bit more, nothing happens,
Mhm.
on and on.
Right.
Um, Paul says Keith deserves full credit for our covers, which he works out with editor Karen Berger, and before that with her predecessor editors. We think they're knockouts too. This is a good cover on this one, right? I pointed out that it's the
Yeah.
it's the first panel of or first page of the story. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a great; it's just a picture of him, but
The hands are good.
yeah.
I'm not so sure about the hands on the first page. I go back and forth on them. Like they kind of look good. They look good. Like it just depends on how I look at them. Like sometimes when I look at them, they look great, and other times it looks like his right hand is like broken or something. It's probably because he's using all that flat screen tone, so it's messing with they don't have the depth, I guess. So it kind of looks like maybe the fingers are bending the opposite direction.
Yeah, they do look all weird. Like it's hard to do. I mean, we know
Yeah,
drawing hands is fucking hard as
super
hell.
hard.
But yeah, like there's the one. It's kind of
Yeah, they're super hard.
yeah. These two fingers look a little out of whack,
Yeah,
and then yeah, these ones are. I don't know.
yeah. I shouldn't bitch. I spent 4 hours last night trying to draw 2 feet,
Yeah.
like bare feet, super hard.
I mean, we can bitch. It's okay. We can be critical of these hand drawings. It's fine. Like you know, you don't have to be able to do better to be able to say that he did a sloppy job. These aren't perfect.
I guess today you could like take a picture of your hand with your iPhone or something, and just trace over it. Maybe.
Let's see. At the end here, Paul says next issue more on the Legionnaires' dilemmas. Mail on the penultimate chapter of Great Darkness Saga. And our second letters page will return with a checklist, oh boy, of Legion adventures. Now stay tuned for Keith's long promised autobiography. More comics.
Yay!
It's just a gag. It's not even that funny, really.
Mm-hmm.
Typical like Keith Giffen filler type of stuff.
I don't know if I've ever seen a good picture of him at this age. Like I can imagine kind of what he looks like, but
I think he looks exactly the same, just with darker hair.
right, a little less decrepit, I'm sure. But
Yeah. But this is a little caricature of Levitz, I guess, right?
oh, is that Levitz?
Yeah, this is Levitz.
Okay.
Because he says, Giffen, you're a dead man.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
He's pissed off that
yeah, totally.
Giffen submitted a dumb autobiography. And I guess Cosmic Boy, maybe that's why Cosmic Boy was laughing. No, he harmed someone and then went to do the autobiography.
Right.
Yeah, whatever. 9-panel grid.
Yeah. The
All right.
first of many.
Well, not even the first, but one of many.
Yeah.
That's it. Legion of Superheroes 297. Cosmic Boy Spotlight. This was okay. What'd you think of this issue?
It's all right. It was all right.
Yeah, it was all right. I kind of like the messed up, mysterious last page of the story.
A C plus,
Yeah.
B minus.
C plus minus. Yeah, all right. That's it. See you next time.
Bye.